Two young engineers applied for a single position at a computer company. They both had the same qualifications. In order to determine which individual to hire, the applicants were asked to take a test by the department manager. Upon completion of the test, both men missed only one of the questions. The manager went to the first applicant and said, "Thank you for your interest, but we've decided to give the job to the other applicant." "And why would you be doing that?" "We both got 9 questions correct," asked the rejected applicant. "We have based our decision not on the correct answers, but on the question you missed," said the department manager. "And just how would one incorrect answer be better than the other?" the rejected applicant inquired. "Simple," said the department manager. "Your fellow applicant put down on question number 5, 'I don't know.' You put down, 'Neither do I.'" Tom had been working in the city for 25 years. Finally, sick of the stress, he quits his job and buys 50 acres of land in the South Wairarapa, as far from humanity as possible. He sees the postman once a week and gets groceries once a month. Otherwise, it's total peace and quiet. After 6 months or so of almost total isolation, someone knocks on his door. He opens it, and a huge, bearded man is standing there. "Name's Cliff, your neighbor from 10 miles up the road. Having a Christmas party Friday night. Thought you might like to come at about 5 o'clock. "Great," says Tom. "After 6 months out here, I'm ready to meet some local folks." "Thank you." As Cliff is leaving, he stops. "Gotta warn you, there'll be some drinking." "Not a problem," says Tom. "After 25 years in the business, I can drink with the best of them." Again, the big man starts to leave and stops. "More than likely going to be some fighting, too." "Well, I get along with people. I'll be all right." "I'll be there." "Thanks again." "More in likely be some wild sex, too." "Now it's really not a problem," says Tom, warming to the idea. "I've been all alone for 6 months. I'll definitely be there. By the way, what should I wear?" "Don't much matter. Just going to be the 2 of us." A principal of a small middle school had a problem with a few of the older girls starting to use lipstick. When applying in the bathroom, they would then press their lips to the mirror and leave lip prints. Before it got out of hand, he thought of a way to stop it. He gathered all the girls together that wore lipstick and told them he wanted to meet with them in the ladies' room at 2 p.m. They gathered at 2 p.m. and found the principal and the school custodian waiting for them. The principal explained that it was becoming a problem for the custodian to clean the mirror every night. He said he felt the ladies did not fully understand just how much of a problem it was, and he wanted them to witness just how hard it was to clean. The custodian then demonstrated. He took a long brush on a handle out of box. He then dipped the brush in the nearest toilet, moved to the mirror, and proceeded to remove the lipstick. That was the last day the girls pressed their lips on the mirror. There were 3 little boys visiting their grandparents. The oldest came out and asked his grandpa, "Can you make a sound like a frog, Grandpa?" Grandpa, being in a kind of ill mood, responds, "No, I don't really want to make the sound of a frog now." So the second little boy comes out and asks his grandfather, "Will you please make a sound like a frog?" Grandpa again says, "No, not now. I don't really want to do that. I'm in a grumpy mood. Maybe later." Then the third little boy comes out and says, "Grandpa, oh, please, please will you make a sound like a frog?" "Why do all of you boys want me to make a sound like a frog?" Grandpa asked. The little boy replied with a hopeful face, "Well, Mom said that when you croak, we get to go to Disney World." A man doing market research knocked on a door and was greeted by a young woman with 3 small children running around at her feet. He says, "I'm doing some research for Vaseline. Have you ever used the product?" She says, "Yes. My husband and I use it all the time." "And if you don't mind me asking, what do you use it for?" "We use it for sex." The researcher was a little taken back. Usually people lie to me and say that they use it on a child's bicycle chain or to help with a gate hinge. But, in fact, I know that most people do use it for sex. I admire you for your honesty. Since you've been frank so far, can you tell me exactly how you use it for sex? The woman says, "I don't mind telling you at all. My husband and I put on the doorknob, and the kids can't open the door." A woman went to the doctor's office, where she was seen by a young, new doctor. After about 4 minutes in the examination room, the doctor told her she was pregnant. She burst out, screaming as she ran down the hall. An older doctor stopped her and asked what the problem was, and she told him her story. After listening, he had her sit down and relax in another room. The doctor marched down the hallway to the back where the first doctor was and demanded, "What's the matter with you?" Mrs. Terry is 59 years old. She has 4 grown children and 7 grandchildren, and you told her she was pregnant? The new doctor continued to write on his clipboard and, without looking up, said, "Does she still have the hiccups?" A little boy wanted $100 very badly and prayed for weeks, but nothing happened. Then he decided to write God a letter requesting the $100. When the postal authorities received the letter addressed to God, USA, they decided to send it to the president. The president was so amused that he instructed his secretary to send the little boy a $5 bill. The president thought this would appear to be a lot of money to a little boy. The little boy was delighted with the $5 bill and sat down and wrote a thank you note to God, which read, "Dear God, thank you very much for sending the money. However, I noticed that for some reason you sent it through Washington, D.C. Do you know those bureaucrats deducted $95 in taxes?" A man was sitting on the edge of the bed, watching his wife, who was looking at herself in the mirror. Since her birthday was not far off, he asked what she'd like to have for her birthday. "I'd like to be 8 again," she replied, still looking in the mirror. On the morning of her birthday, he rose early, made her a nice big bowl of Cocoa Pops, and then took her to Adventure World theme park. What a day! He put her on every ride in the park, the death slide, the wall of fear, the screaming roller coaster, and everything there was. 5 hours later, they staggered out of the theme park. Her head was reeling, and her stomach felt upside down. He then took her to a McDonald's, where he ordered her a Happy Meal with extra fries and a chocolate shake. Then it was off to a movie, popcorn, a Fanta, and her favorite candy, M&Ms. What a fabulous adventure. Finally, she wobbled home with her husband and collapsed in a bed exhausted. He leaned over his wife with a big smile and lovingly asked, "Well, dear, what was it like being 8 again?" Her eyes slowly opened and her expression suddenly changed. "I'm in my dress size, you dumbass." The moral of the story: even when a man is listening, he is going to get it wrong. While the barber is lathering the man up for his shave, the man expresses to the barber how he has a hard time getting a close shave on his cheeks. The barber pulls a small wooden ball out of his cabinet drawer. Place the wooden ball between your cheek and gum on the right side, and you'll have a close shave on that side. The man does this, and the barber shaves the right side of his face. "Wow," exclaims the man, "that is great." He puts the ball on the left side of his mouth, and with muffled voice asks, "What happens if I accidentally swallow dew ball?" The barber says, "Just bring it back tomorrow like everyone else."